Hi guys, I'm back again, and today we're going to read part 3 of Fortunately the Milk. I'm really excited to find out what happened. Do you remember what happened yesterday? He was captured by pirates, and just as he was about to walk the plank, who came to save him? Dr. Steg, the Stegosaurus, in his floaty ball person carrier thingy, which we know as a hot air balloon. So today we're going to read a little bit more about that. But before we do, I want to read you a new poem. Today we're reading a poem out of the Shel Silverstein book, Everything on It. Are you ready? I'm going to read you 2 poems out of this book. The first one is called Years from Now. Although I cannot see your face as you flip these poems a while, somewhere from some far-off place, I hear you laughing, I see you smile. And the next poem is called Everything on It. I asked for a hot dog with everything on it, and that was my big mistake, because it came with a parrot, a bee in a bonnet, a wristwatch, a wrench, and a rake. It came with a goldfish, a flag, and a fiddle, a frog and a front porch swing, a mouse in a mask. That's the last time I ask for a hot dog with everything. I hope that you liked that. Okay, let's read our book. Are you ready? Fortunately the Milk, Part 3. We landed on the platform and got out. The platform stuck up out of the jungle and had flaming torches on each side. There were people standing on it with very black hair and sharp stone knives. Is this a balloon landing platform? I asked the people. It is not, said a fat man. It is our temple. We had a very bad harvest last year, and we had just asked the gods to send us a sacrifice to make sure that this year's harvest is better than ever, when you floated down in that thing with your monster. Oh, here's the picture. Thank you, by the way, said a little thin man. I was going to be the sacrifice if no one else turned up. Much obliged. So now we will sacrifice you and your monster. But my children are waiting for their breakfast, I said. Look. And I held up the milk. Why did they all just fall to their knees? Asked Professor Steg. Is this usual hairless mammal behavior? Perhaps I should hold up some hard, hairy, wet crunchers and see what happens. Coconuts, I told him. Those are called coconuts. What is that you are holding? The fat man asked. Milk, I said. Milk, they exclaimed, and they all fell onto the ground. We have a prophecy, said the fat man, that when a man and a spiny-backed monster descend from the skies on a round floaty thing, a floaty ball person carrier, said the little thin man. Yes, one of those. We were told that when that happened, if the man held up milk, then we were not to sacrifice them, but we were meant to take them to the volcano and give them as a present the green jewel that is the eye of Splod. Splod? He is the god of the people with short, funny names. It is, I said, a remarkably specific sort of prophecy. When did you receive it? Last Wednesday, said the fat man proudly. The priest of Splod was woken in the night by a voice whispering from the heavens, and when he went to look and see who it was, there was nobody there. Also, he was sleeping on the top of the temple, and nobody else could have been up there with him. So it must have either been Splod himself talking or one of his angelic messengers. We walked together down a jungle path. Professor Steg carried the rope in his mouth that led up to the balloon, and he dragged the balloon along. After half an hour, we reached the volcano. It was not a very big volcano, and there were wisps of smoke coming from the top of it. On the side of the volcano, there was a carving of a big, scary face with one eye in the middle of its forehead. and the eye was the biggest emerald I had ever seen. "A special shiny greeny stone," said Professor Stegg with his mouth full of rope. The fat man clambered up the side of the volcano. "It's a good thing that Splod himself told us to give you the Eye of Splod," said the thin little man who had narrowly avoided being sacrificed. "Because there is another prophecy that if the Eye of Splod is ever removed, great Splod will awaken and spread burning destruction across the land." "Here you go," said the fat man. He handed us the emerald. Professor Stegg nipped up the rope ladder into the balloon's gondola and began to install the emerald in the time machine. "Hang on. He was a stegosaurus?" "Yes." "Then how could he just nip up a rope ladder?" "Well, he was," said my father, "a large stegosaurus, but very light on his feet. There are very large people who are excellent dancers." "Are there any ponies in this?" asked my sister. "I thought that there would be more ponies by now." I was standing on the ground, holding onto the rope ladder, when the ground shook and the very small volcano began to belch smoke and lava. "Splod is angry," shouted the little thin man. "He wants his eye back." There was a rushing wind, and the balloon jerked me high up into the air, high above the splurting lava. Unfortunately, I dropped the milk. I wasn't holding onto it tightly enough. It landed on the top of Splod's head. Professor Stegg hauled the rope ladder up with his tail. "I've lost the milk, I've told him." "Well, that's not good," he admitted. "But I know where it is. It's on top of Splod's head, on the side of the volcano." Professor Stegg said, "Good Splod, what on earth is that?" And before our eyes, another balloon just like ours appeared over by the volcano. A man hurried down the rope ladder. He placed a large emerald in Splod's eye, picked up the milk from Splod's head, ran up the ladder, and the balloon vanished. The very small volcano stopped erupting as suddenly as if it had been turned off. "Well, that was a bit peculiar, wasn't it?" said the professor. It was," I agreed, gloom and despair and despondency coming over me. "That man in the balloon stole my milk. We are lost in the past, with jungles and pirates and volcanoes, and now I will never get home. My children will never have breakfast. We are doomed to float forever through the dusty air of the past in a hot air balloon." "It is not a balloon," said Professor Stegg. "It is a floaty ball person carrier." "What nonsense you do talk. Now, I think that should do the trick." And he finished attaching the emerald to the box, using string mostly, but also some sticky tape, and he pushed the red button. "Where are we going?" I asked. It seemed like the sun was zooming across the sky as if nights were following days in a flickering strobe. "The far, far future," said Professor Stegg. The machine stopped. We were hanging in the air above a grassy plain with a very small gray mountain beneath us. "There," said Professor Stegg. "It is now an extinct volcano. But look." And there's the volcano. And extinct means it doesn't have any lava anymore. On the side of the extinct volcano was carved the face of Splod, still recognizable, even though it was much eroded by time and the weather, and in the single eye was a huge green emerald, a perfect twin to the one that we had attached to the time machine. "Right," said Professor Stegg. "Grab me that special shiny greeny stone." I went over to the side of the gondola and down the rope ladder. I pulled the emerald out of the eye socket. Below me on the plain, a number of brightly colored ponies were gathered, and when I picked up the emerald, one of them shouted up at me, "You must be the man without the milk. We have heard about you in our tales." "Why are you a pink pony with pale blue star on the side?" I asked. "I know," said the pony with a sigh. "It's what everybody's wearing these days. Pale blue stars are so last year." Professor Stegg leaned up over the side of the balloon's basket. "Hurry up," he called. "If the volcano's going to go off, it will do so at any moment." The volcano made a noise like a huge burp, and the middle of it collapsed into itself. We thought it would do that, said a green pony with a sparkly mane. There was a prophecy, I suppose. No, we're all just very clever. All the ponies nodded. They were very clever ponies. I am so glad there were ponies, said my sister. And we're going to stop right there and we're going to find out. Now they have 2 green stones. So we're going to find out tomorrow what happens. All right. I hope that you enjoyed it and I will talk to you later. Bye.